Hello, Daniel Hockley here. I chose to do my week 3 assignment as a video so I can get some practice in, hopefully avoid some of my problem. So let's get into it. And this week I was tasked with watching a TED Talk of my choice and watching for some of the nonverbal communication codes and see how they're utilized. So the video that I chose was by Sir Ken Robinson, and it's titled, Do Schools Kill Creativity? So let's get into it. The first nonverbal code that I observed was kinesics. The situation for this was the presenter, when he came out on stage during the whole presentation, was consistently looking around the room, making eye contact with different people in the crowd. This did not stop. The whole time he was looking around, connecting. This is an example of kinesics because kinesics directly has to do with your body language, how you stand, how you look, like facial expressions and everything, and making eye contact with people. And throughout the entire time, he was consistently connecting with people using kinesics via eye contact. The second code would be proxemics. When he walked out on stage, he didn't get behind a podium or anything. He literally stood right up front in front of the crowd. The whole time. He didn't even walk. He just came out, he stood in the one spot and stayed there the entire time. This is an example of proxemics, because proxemics has to do with distance and how you communicate using distance. I believe, from the angle I could see, it looked like he was standing within a social distance, which is 4 to 12 feet. So it's a very relaxed kind of presentation in a way. The third one would be his physical appearance. He had a black dress jacket on, a button-up shirt that was tucked in, and he also had black slacks on. He had a very well-kept look. This is an example of physical appearance, because physical appearance has to do with how you look, how you're dressed, your hair, that kind of thing. And his hair was done, he had a nice outfit on, he was very clean kept, and this is a good example of good physical appearance. The fourth code I noticed was vocalics. Throughout the whole presentation when he was talking, he was cracking jokes, talking about his subject and everything else to keep the audience engaged, but he always had a tone that reinforced what he was saying. Vocalics has to do with the tone, the pitch, the rate, and volume of what you say. The presenter's vocal delivery was serious, but also calm. It really helped reinforce what he was saying because it helped solidify the importance of the subject. Finally would be artifacts. The presenter had a wedding band on. He talked a lot with his hands, so I noticed this a few times when his hands would come up when he was talking. He also mentioned that he was married several times. Artifacts specifically have to do with something that we wear that's a personal object that kind of displays something about who we are. A wedding band, a watch, for instance, maybe a tie, that kind of thing. And like I said, he had the wedding band on, so that was a good example of an artifact. Now, as far as what I learned and how I could relate these nonverbal communication skills to my life, I had a little bit of problem coming up with two specific examples. So hopefully these are pretty good ones. But the first thing that I thought of was, a year ago, I had a position at a Spirit Halloween store, which is a seasonal Halloween store. It comes in a few months before Halloween, stays around until about the beginning of November. And this was the second year with the company, and I was an assistant manager this time around. So not only did I have to help lead the crew as far as my other coworkers were concerned, but I also had to interact with customers, more so than just the standard employees would, because I deal with like returns, exchanges, customer issues, and all that. And I tried to do my best as far as how I communicated with them, as far as, my physical stuff along with verbal. But having a better understanding of these nonverbal communications will definitely help me in the future, because I do plan on going back for the same position. And there were multiple scenarios where I had to deal with disgruntled customers or whatever, and depending upon how I present myself in a situation like that will also kind of impact how they react to me outside of just my vocals. And then the other example that I thought of would relate to a job interview, meeting a potential employer. Because, they always say, have a nice firm handshake, be dressed well, present yourself well. Because people are going to judge you by how you look, especially when it comes to a job. So you want to look professional and well kept if you want to get a good job. So those were the two examples that I could think of. Hopefully they were good ones. And I think that's about it. Thank you for watching.